Um, Welcome to the parents and carers of students at Countesthorpe Academy. Just quickly sending out a short video before the summer to pre-relaunch our homework strategy to ask for your support in encouraging your child to be checking their homeworks daily and to be making sure that all of their homework is submitted and handed in on time. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about some of the new processes and systems, and we ask for your support in this, please. So why does homework really matter? Well, when really excellent homework is set by teachers, it helps to reinforce the classroom learning and to support students in remembering their learning long term. It, of course, builds really independent study habits and independent skills that students will need for future employment. It will prepare students for any forthcoming and upcoming assessments and for future study. It helps the teachers to identify where there might be misunderstandings or where a student might need additional support. And the main issue is that when a student is then not completing their homework, despite all of these brilliant reasons for why homework really matters, they end up being disadvantaged compared to their peers because they will end up with gaps in their learning or less experience with independent study skills, while their peers continue to thrive. So it's really important that we all see and encourage our young people to see why homework matters. Now, to support with what I've just said there about why homework really matters, the Education Endowment Foundation is an independent charity, and it's been dedicated to breaking the link between family incomes and educational achievement. What they do is they support schools and colleges in early years settings to improve teaching and learning through better use of evidence, and they fund and are part of lots of research projects in which they have found that homework at secondary school has a positive impact on students on average, providing them with an additional 5 months of progress in their learning compared to students who do not complete their homework. And it's really particularly showing strength for students in secondary school. So this research, as well as student feedback and teacher feedback and parent feedback, has shown us that what makes really good homework that will support students in making this sort of progress is homework that's really focused on recapping learning and practicing skills. It also needs to be really manageable for students because we know outside of school, lots of our students do lots of extracurricular activities as part of our school or separate from our school. They have lots of hobbies and of course need to have lots of opportunity to have some relaxing time and time with family and friends. We also know that students really find the most effective homeworks for them are the ones that are online platforms in which they can make use of their school devices on their iPads or their Chromebooks. So lots of the homeworks that we'll be setting that we know are really effective homeworks are homeworks such as homework set on Sparks or Bedrock vocabulary, or in science, Educate. Of course, we set all of our work on Satchel 1 that gives information about what the homework is. And Seneca Learning is also an amazing platform, which I'm sure many of your young people will have heard of and will have been using already. Another great thing about these types of homeworks that will be set by the teachers is that they provide instant feedback, so students know exactly where the successes are and they've been supported in how to make improvements. And all of that information is fed back to the teacher to help them in planning their lessons and how to work individually with students that might need further support. It's really accessible for all students, and as long as they have the device charged, they will be able to access their homework activities. Of course, some activities might involve those being produced on bits of paper or finishing off some classwork, but the majority of their works will be focused on recapping learning and practicing skills and making really effective use of our online platforms that provide instant feedback for students. So how can you, as parents and carers of your child at home, be helping them with their homework? Well, the first thing is just having that discussion with them about what homework they might have. So each evening, asking them, do they have any homework? Quickly asking them and encouraging them to log on to Satchel 1 and to have a look at the deadlines and make sure that they know what they have and when it needs to be completed by. One brilliant thing also about Satchel 1 is that you as parents and carers also have your own login and access, so you can also check yourself to see what homework that they have set and when it's due in. Please also remind them that if for whatever reason there are issues with students being able to do their work at home, they have time before school and at lunchtime where they can use the school library or the homework club that's been set up, as well as many teachers who offer to open their rooms to support students to be able to do their homework. For example, this year, a couple of maths classrooms has been open every lunchtime for students to be able to do their homework there. Please also, if they are doing this work at home, which we encourage the majority of them to be doing, please help them to create a calm space and the time then for them to complete their work. As we move forward into the new academic year, we have some really clear expectations that will be being shared and communicated with students. In fact, I spoke to them just this morning to give them a bit of a pre-relaunch to let them know of how homework will work and how we'll make it even more effective for them. What we'll be looking at is if students are missing their homeworks, there'll be clear information that will be shared with you using our Arbor app. So please keep an eye on your Arbor app to see whether your child has been rewarded for completing their homework, or if for whatever reason they may have missed a homework. This will be visible to you on the Arbor app. We will allow students to have a couple of chances with extensions to deadlines, because we know some students may need that initially to support them in completing their work. However, if there are issues after that and homework has still not been handed in, we do not want them to be disadvantaged. So we'll be putting them into a lunchtime head of faculty homework session where they'll be able to complete their homework in school. If they continue to still not do this or do not attend this homework session, then we'll be putting them into a senior leadership team homework session so that they can complete it there. The whole aim of doing this is to make sure that all students are able to access and complete their homework with as much support as they might need, that then in the long run will encourage them to be really independent learners and support them to be the best that they can be in Countesthorpe Academy. However, one thing that's a real strength for Countesthorpe Academy is that we really do recognise and reward those students that are always doing the right thing, and for those students who begin to turn things around and are meeting our expectations. So when it comes to this new homework strategy, we really will be celebrating students who submit their homework and complete their homework, who do that on time, who put in that extra effort, and who improve also with their homework completion and their homework effort. This will involve lots of rewards, such as value points that you'll be able to see them achieving on the Arbor app, lots of postcards home, we've got learners of the weeks, and we've got stars of the lesson and homework prize draws. And at the end of each half term, we have big rewards assemblies, and there'll be a separate reward for students with regards to homework. So what are the next steps? Well, this term we're preparing students for this new updated approach, and like I said, I've just discussed with the whole of the school today during their weekly briefing that we will be relaunching a homework strategy that will support all of them to be successful moving forward, and to raise that bar and that expectation that all students are completing the homework that's been set by their teachers. The full relaunch is going to take place next academic year, so when students return after the summer in autumn 2025, they'll have assemblies, really talking them through all the reasons for why them completing their homework really does matter. It will also involve lots of work with teachers to make sure we're being really consistent and making it really clear so that all students know exactly what they need to be doing as part of their homework activities. Your support at home is going to make a huge difference to our success. Your support with talking to your child about their homework, having an idea of when their homework's due in and discussing that with your child, talking to them about why it's really important and how they're disadvantaged if they don't do their homework, and also just a reminder of the support that will be in school with lunch times and before school if they do not have a space at home to be able to complete their work, or if they're extremely busy with their hobbies and other activities outside of school. If you have any questions at all about this pre-relaunch of the homework strategy, please do contact me before the summer holidays by emailing amackenzie@clcc.college, or you're welcome to call into our main reception and ask to speak to Mrs. Mackenzie. Thank you for your time today.